Good.
Good everyone, my name is Hamza Victor, and with me here is Christopher Alade, Ayemidoni Fadi, and Korea Abdulhamid. For the past 8 weeks, we have been working actively as CodeDay Lab interns on the FICO Camp Classroom project. So what's FICO Camp Classroom? FICO Camp Classroom is a self-hosted solution to help teachers plan and manage classroom-based learning on top of FICO Camp's learning platform. So what it is in a nutshell is a platform that allows teachers to have a better eye view of multiple students as they progress through FICO Camp course. So teachers can have accountability with their teachers, and teachers can monitor the progress and offer feedback to students as fast as possible through the platform. Our whole journey into this began with an issue raised by Girolamo Flores. The issue was directed towards a pull request that was made of recent. The pull request made some changes to the tailwheel config, which is a config file for the styling, and all of a sudden, most of the styles on the website was broken. And this was not easily noticed because the normal review process was checking manually and checking the files themselves and not the results the code we produce. So this prompted Galamo to introduce propose a solution to this problem, which is snapshot testing. He proposed that using automated snapshot testing, this problem will be seen earlier and prevented from breaking into the main code base.
Thank you, Victor, for that introduction. A snapshot test is a test used for comparing the output of a code base. Developers use snapshot testing when we want to make sure that the user interface on our application does not change unexpectedly. There are different frameworks that can be used for snapshot testing, but for this project, we used Jest snapshot testing. Jest is a JavaScript framework for testing. And what the snapshot test does is that it takes a snapshot, it then compares the output on that snapshot to the user interface on the reference snapshot. This reference snapshot is the one that contains the expected output, and it is previously stored alongside the test. This test that we wrote, they will help the reviewers spot inconsistencies or a broken code easily, because subsequently, when a new contribution is made to the project, the test will run and it will pass if the new snapshot matches with the reference snapshot. And if the new snapshot does not match, then the test will fail, indicating that the test runner has found a bug in the code that needs to be fixed. Deliverables. For this project, we were able to write snapshot tests for modal components, layout components, error components, admin table components, update user form component, and the class invite table. The tech stack used for the projects are React, TypeScript, and Jest snapshot.
After requesting for a pull in the code base, we were able to set up our code environment using two cloud-based code environments, which was recommended in the README file by FreeCodeCamp. We made use of Gitpod and GitHub Codespace. The reason why we made use of this are because it is the stress of setting up manually, locally on our laptop, and also to give us features like live sharing in order to enhance collaboration with my other team members. One of the main components we worked on is the update user form. This component is a form for updating user information. It is written in React and uses the use router hook from Next.js to manage routing. This form allows users to edit their name, email, and role of a user. It submits the data to an API endpoint using a post request. The role drop-down options are dynamically generated based on the user roles. And if the user role is admin, they will only have the admin option role available. Else, if the user is not an admin, they will have other roles listed in the drop-down. This component also includes input fields to pass the user ID to the API in order to hide it from the main code. Now, we wrote a test for this component. This set of tests, we made sure we structured our data and used examples that follows the same structure that was used in the main component. In the examples we created example for each row, like you can see here on line 6 to line 24. We made an example for the admin, for the teacher, and for the non. This test covered three scenarios: to show a form for the user to update their details, and also to show only the admin role if the user is an admin, and also to show all available roles if the user is not an admin. Now for the snapshot code is automatically generated by Jest based on the rendered output of the update user form component during testing. Jest uses this snapshot to ensure that the component's appearance and behavior remain consistent across different test runs. The combination of the components I explained earlier, the tests and the snapshot, helps ensure that the component works as intended and remains stable as they continue to develop this code and refactor.
This is the modal component test. So the first thing we did was tried to mimic the behavior of the modal component itself in the real sense. So whenever the modal component is used, try and mimic what data it receives, so as to make it as realistic as possible. Instead of creating test case that will actually not come to pass, we try and make the test case more realistic so that when the situation really come, they are battle tested and prevent errors from going through. So we also made it very effective in the sense that we allowed actions to be performed on the modal components so that we can see the expected results. So do you know the way the modal component works is that whenever the header is being clicked on, that's when it shows the form for you to like add classes and add students to the classes that you want to add to it. So what we did was that we first checked if the header component, which is the button, if it is available, and we made a snapshot of that first. Also make sure that after you've clicked on the header, the form actually renders. So we tested that. You can see we made sure an action was being performed and we received the expected results. So we ran that and we saved that into a snapshot so that whenever a new test is being run, whenever a test is being run, it is checked. It is checked with the snapshots that was already made, and based on the results, the test will either pass or fail. So this is a snapshot of the if the header renders correctly. First, you can see it over here. And this is snapshot whenever the header is being flicked. And you can see the whole form itself is displayed over here. By default, the form is not going to be shown. But whenever the header is clicked, the form will be shown. So the form is available now. So our test did what it's meant to do, and it is battle tested and ready to prevent wrong codes from being merged into the repository.
Okay, so I'll be taking more the admin table and the snapshot testing we wrote for the admin table. Generally, what the admin table does is that it helps us to keep the structure of what the admin table looks like. And from here, from the text file, you can see that it shows what the structure of the admin table looks like. We have, you can see that it has majorly four rows, which is the ID role, the name and email, and the role of the admin, either as an admin, the teacher. Yeah, it can either be an admin or a teacher. Only these two people that has the function to add either a student or add a teacher to the classroom project. And we can see here, this is just able to keep track of what we're adding and to make sure that it follows the order at which we want it to stay. And this up here is a sample user data that we are using to kind of test run the snapshot testing that we wrote for the admin table. And if you run this, it automatically creates a snapshot testing for us. here. And what this snapshot test does is that it keeps the picture of what the structure of the admin code looks like in the component. And we can see here from the beginning that it kind of shows how the admin tables look like. And if you are to see, if you are to see the visual UI of what the admin table looks like, we understand that every code here is keeping picture of what it looks like. And if there's any new code added to this admin table, and it's different from what we had in a snapshot, it's going to throw an error to help us know, okay, a new code has been added to the admin table. So from here, we'll move on to the next item. So to end our presentation, we'll talk about what we've gained from this internship. It has been a very long weeks, 8 weeks, and for me, it has been a wonderful experience for me. Be able to learn one or two things. I'm able to learn how to read documentation. I'm able to learn how to read documentation and also to navigate a very large code base. And also, I'm able to also form a relationship with our mentor. So we have studied a lot of things during this time, and it has been a very good time with him, both in our one-on-one meeting and our general meetings. And also, I've been able to also learn the importance of keeping a snapshot testing of your code, to prevent unnecessary breakdown in the UI at the user end, and also keep tracks of new code that have been added to your code base. And it's also helps to keep your code syntax neat and without unnecessary breakouts or looking for what happens to your code base when you experience any breakouts. So I'll call on Victor to talk more about what he learned in this internship.
Thank you, Christopher. One important thing I really learned in this internship is peer programming. So it was very easy to work with my peers because we used a cloud-based development environment. I could just spin up a VS Code live share and just add them to a meeting, and they will all be available and we'll all working together on the project. This reduces the back and forth that normally occurs when you work locally and where you have to, like, try and make a GitHub commit first, then you expect the results. You create a pull request. Make a push. Then the people who need it will make a pull request. That's a long project, very lengthy process. But with the help of VS Code Live Share, we could work synchronously, everybody present in the same code base and working and making necessary edits that we need to make. Also, I learned how to use GitHub very effectively to make contributions through pull requests and through the review process. We worked extensively with the maintainer of the project to get feedback on every pull request that we've made. It was a very awesome experience working with them. So over to Ayomide on what he learned on this project.
Much, Victor. One of the things I learned during this project was more about JavaScript and its frameworks. During this project, the project is built with React, TypeScript. So I was able to learn more about React, TypeScript, and also jest and the importance of writing tests for our components. And also, I worked with a team. This helped me in learning how to manage a team and enhance my communication skill. Thank you.
Yeah, so, and it has been a wonderful experience for one of us here at CodeDay Lab. And we want to also say thank you to our school, Kibo School, for giving us the opportunity to have our internship here at CodeDay Lab. Thank you, CodeDay Lab, also for this opportunity, for every help and assistance, for the experiences. It has been a wonderful time here. Victor?
It has been a wonderful time working with CodeDay Labs and our mentor, Lloyd Shark. It was a very interesting experience, and happy to have been a part of it.
I'm also happy to be a part of this project. It was a very, very wonderful journey working on the project. Thank you, CodeDay Lab. Thank you, Kibo School, for this great opportunity. And also a very big thank you to our mentor for his great guidance and support.
Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.